Welcome to Superhero Stuff You Should Know. This is the Batcycle, and with me, as usual, is...
The Andrew Cycle. How's it going, everyone?
And we have a Batman with us. Please introduce yourself.
Good evening, everybody listening. This is Chicano Batman, and here to represent some talk on some of the Batcycles. How apropos.
Nice.
Yes. So, Chicano Batman and I met over at, last year we did an episode for MOLA, the Museum of Latin American Art and
That's
stuff.
right.
And
That's right.
we met there because we were watching the Batwoman movie.
Beautiful movie.
Yes. It's fantastic. They added just a beautiful reissue of all the colors, and it looked great. I remember we hung out afterwards, and later on we talked, and I wanted to bring you on to let's talk about the Batcycles, which kind of ties in a little bit to your specific Batman. So let's talk about the origins of your cosplay here, because I know this is an earlier version of it, and viewers can't quite see it from the chest up on you, but you have a very unique cosplay here with a cape that is different from the usual cape here. So go ahead and take it away in terms of the origins of this.
Of course. So the origins, I have, oh my goodness, this is going back to 2016 when I was actually able to meet Adam West at
Awesome.
Frankensons. And before that, I really never actually thought about doing a Batman cosplay. It wasn't until I was actually able to go ahead and speak to him. He looked at my son, and at the time I was a younger guy, so I didn't have too much cash on me, and $80 to get something signed was a pretty significant amount for me. Well, really wasn't able to kind of get the $80, but I brought in the Hot Wheels, and my son was there, and Adam kind of looked at my son and said, "Hey, you know what? Just bring him in." And he went, autographed the Hot Wheels for my son, Noah. And then after that, he looked at me and he said, "Hey, you know what? You're doing a really good job. You're a great dad."
Wow.
From that minute, that's when it definitely set in, because before that, I was all about Michael Keaton. Just like Michael Keaton was my Batman. And I had no appreciation for Adam West, but that moment sealed my fate. It was just like, okay, it's Adam West all the way.
That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. And then from there, just little by little, I really started getting into Adam West, and just really enjoying a lot of the campiness of the 66 show. And then it wasn't until 2020 hit when there was a Black Friday sale going on at Fat Collectibles. It's within Orange County. And my wife saw the actual cowl. And I was just like, no way. And I got it for a bargain. I think it was maybe $150. And yeah, totally just picked it up. And then that night, I just put the cowl on. And then in the past, I have met other cosplayers before, and I would kind of talk with them. And I remember I asked one fellow who had a modified Adam West suit, but it was kind of tactical based. So, I mean, it easily looked like it could have been a variant of Pattinson's or Bale's, where it looked like armored plating. But it looked kind of comfortable, and it had the color scheme going on. I asked him, "Hey, how much to like do that?" He said, "It's neighborhood, about 550, 600. And I thought to myself, I'm never going to do that.
Right.
And here we are now. A few years later, and it's definitely around that mark of the 500 to 600 mark, where it's just like, all right, gloves. So if we see on the picture right here, those were my original. No. I think those were my second version of leather gloves. And I realized that had an error. I wasn't able to manipulate the technology. So, I mean, going to conventions and trying to be able to touch everything, it was a no-go. Then also, this cape was actually a direct inspiration from Steve Seeley, who I met, or I actually had the pleasure of meeting Jenna Frizen, and her husband is Steve Seeley. And she actually told me, "Wait, do you know Westside Batman?" At the time, I thought Westside Batman was an actual cosplayer. And it turns out that's her husband who designed Westside Batman, and I completely fell in love with it because I wanted my Batman to be something different. I wanted to have a Chicano Batman, and from there I kind of meshed everything together to a point where I would really be able to present a lot of Chicano roots and heritage, and then also kind of learning from the cosplay bears because they also had a Vato Batman. So kind of like looking at what some of the other cosplayers have done in the past. Yeah, just making it my own.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we can definitely see that here with the cape.
Oh yeah.
So that is awesome. So, like you said, like West became your Batman
Yes.
with that meeting, and afterwards, I take it you've seen all of the 66 show.
Oh yeah, I mean, before I remember, and this is another reason why I loved when they were playing the Batwoman, because that's how I learned a lot about Batman, just way in the '80s when it was on Channel 34 or Channel 52. A lot of the Batman exposure that I got, it was essentially all primarily Batman and Espanol, and then '92 hit, and then we got a lot of Conroy, and then oh god, that's when I had the subconscious attraction to Poison Ivy because I remember seeing Almost Got Him, and I was just like, oh well, that's cool as a young little tyke, and then now as a full grown man, I'm just like, oh, I don't know what it is about Poison Ivy, but there's something about her and the jack o' lanterns. Woo. Yep.
Pretty poison.
Oh yes.
So I wanted to give you a little bit of an opportunity before we go into the main topic to show some of the Poison Ivy stuff you wanted to show.
Yes, of course. All right, so definitely here is the first little bit, and we also bumped into each other again at WonderCon.
Yeah.
But this is my pride and joy because this is the latest one that was actually signed by Jenna Friesen right there. And originally, when I got this, I was loving it. I was just like, oh my goodness, this is the most beautiful cover I've ever seen. And then my wife saw it. Hey, I really like that cover. So I mean, I took the cue and I'm just like, huh. All right, I guess this is my wife's now. And coincidentally, my wife's name is Martha. So it's just that made Jenny laugh. It's just like, wait, so your wife is Martha? She's like, yeah. So there you go. Yeah, that's definitely not funny.
Yeah, I heard the jokes.
Oh yeah, and then the next one is this is definitely the Grail piece, and this is my project I have going on right now. So this is Scott Blair, Poison Ivy, and I have a prediction. It's supposed to be Eva Mendes as Poison Ivy, and I'm definitely thinking since the Barbie movie's coming out, Ryan and Margot are spending a lot of time together. Hopefully, Ryan goes and says, "Hey, Eva Mendes would make a pretty good Poison Ivy." So hopefully, James Gunn, if you ever listen to this, please cast Eva Mendes as Poison Ivy. And
he's totally listening to this.
Oh yeah, yes.
He has so much time. Actually, right now the strike is going on, so he has more time than usual.
That's very true.
You never know.
Yep. So we got Diane Pershing right here.
Oh, sweet.
And that's yep. And then we have we have Nicole Kang here, and here Lake Bell.
I just don't understand the attraction, bro. I just don't get it.
It's right there. It's all.
What could it be?
Right?
What could it be? I wonder.
It's a mystery. It is.
It's a mystery to me.
Yep.
So, like story-wise, though, outside of the other aspects, what do you think's the best? Before we go into the next thing, what's the best Poison Ivy story in comics or whatever?
Let's see. Pound for pound, for me, it's gonna be the one where her and Harley they just paint the town red for Christmas and the holidays.
Oh,
I mean, that's the story I just love to see because you really do see a lot of that like human aspect of her. And then I've been following the current series that they have right now, and it's cool to see how they're tying everything into the fungus. I mean, like right there, you have the fungus, and especially with Last of Us coming on, it's cool that they have like such a modern take on it. And then even her origin story is pretty good too. I don't know. I just love the lady.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
Yeah, she's cool. I wonder if she had her own movie, we would not be, we wouldn't be against it. You know what I'm saying?
Not
James
at all.
Gunn?
Eva Mendes, come on.
Or a
Pulling
Sirens
trigger.
movie like what you're talking about. Yeah, with Margot returning as Harley.
If they make like if they seemingly they might make a Clayface movie, the one after that, if they do another villain one, should be Poison Ivy probably. I don't know how it would tie in with everything else, but
It's popular enough.
Oh, I've speculated on it. So towards the end, you see Pattinson. He reaches for his belt and he gets a green vial. Could go one of two ways. They could either use venom for Bane, or it could be something derived from a plant. So if it's derived from a plant,
well, the thing is, like the Pattinson one's not going to be in the Gun verse. That's a different. No, that's Elseworlds. That's officially Elseworlds.
Sorry, Mike.
We're breaking it to you on air, but yeah, it's gonna be. They're gonna continue the Reeves stuff, but it's gonna remain separate.
That doesn't mean there can't be Poison Ivy in the Reeves verse, though.
There could be Poison Ivy in the Reeves verse as well, but I was originally talking about the Gun verse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like there might be two Clayfaces also, but we'll see what happens with all that.
Well, hopefully we get a Latina Poison Ivy. I really, really want a Latina Poison Ivy.
That's a good idea, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Manganello's wife, Sofia Vergara. That would.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah. That would kind of stop traffic. Like if they at least
if they can get him back as Deathstroke too.
If they get him as Deathstroke,
he's been waiting for years.
They're like one of the hottest couples that like they must also be nice, because it feels like the nice people don't. Actually, no, I take that back. But it's an old stereotype that nice people only get so far. That's what I'm referring to. A lot of nice people get far. Let me say that, but yeah, they're probably just both. I don't know what it is. Anyway, let's move forward before I dig myself a grave on the internet.
Well, let's promote Chicano Batman's Instagram. So you can find him over at mgarcia5159.
Oh yeah.
So go ahead and
helping
give him a
out the
follow.
community.
Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, but in the meantime, Chicano Batman is going to join us in ranking the Batcycles in live action, which ties into Batman 66, since that was the premiere of the Batcycle. So I thought that would be very fitting for bringing him on. And before we go into that, we're going to sort of recap what our ranking system is, especially since, this is Chicano Batman's first time on with us. So here are our rankings. We have S tier as the very top, then A, B, C, D, and then E, and then the honorary or dishonorary F tier, which is Goose Egg / Itlog, which is Tagalog for egg, thanks to our research assistant, Dan.
Very nice.
Which is basically a way to say big fat zero.
Yeah, so there was if this is your first episode, it's like the history behind this is, we were doing this before, and it was the F, and I was like, remember when you got a 0 on your test paper? Everybody would call that 0 a goose egg. At least in the South, they did back in the day when I was. I'm from Atlanta, Alabama, Chicano Batman. But so Ben was like, "Wait a second, you had so many zeros that you had an extra name for it." And I was like, "Look, not me, but I remember." The people around me, dude, they didn't give a fuck. And like, yeah, there was a lot of zeros, man.
Goose egg.
So goose egg was thrown around quite a bit. Our research assistant, Dan, is from the Philippines. He said they also called it itlog, which is egg. So it's a worldwide phenomenon.
It is. I like this. I've learned something new today, gentlemen. Very nice.
There it is. Yeah.
That's what we got for this. So I think we're going to dive into the 5, count them 5 Batcycles in live action and rank them. I don't know. We'll see if there's going to be a goose egg one. I don't know. But we'll go bit by
probably
bit.
not.
So, not necessarily with this one. We've given it in the past, for sure, on others. But this one, maybe not. But we'll see. But yeah. Let's go into a brief history of the Batcycles before we start ranking. The Batcycle is associated with Batman a lot, but actually, it was Batwoman's first. The Batcycle first appeared at Batwoman's first appearance in Detective Comics 233, and then got adopted by Batman in Batman 66. And here's where we kind of go into some trivia. You might know this, Mike, but Chicano Batman. But basically, there are 2 Batcycles in Batman 66, not just one. There was an earlier one, and we're going to include that here. The first one appeared in the 2-parter, The Penguin Goes Straight, Not Yet He Ain't, in which Penguin pretends to go straight, ends up stealing the Batmobile and renaming it his Birdmobile. Naturally, Batman and Robin fake their deaths, but return with a vengeance in the Batcycle. This is the early version of the Batcycle, the first time it showed up with Batman riding it as opposed to Batwoman. You've still got the sidecar, but you notice it's a little different from the classic one. You've got the windshields are basically the bat shields, and it's painted black with the logo being the classic black on the yellow logo, as opposed to the red one that we'll see later on. According to 66mania.com, this Batcycle was from a 1959 Harley-Davidson with the attached sidecar rented from a Hollywood studio. So this is the first Batcycle and the first of 2 of the Batcycles of Batman 66. So let's go into what we think of this. What should the order be? Should I go first? Should I go last? What do you guys think? We should have Chicano Batman go last, actually. I think
that works.
Yeah, because it ends on you, and you can break our ties. That can make sense, actually. Yeah.
Or you can have a completely different opinion from us. You can hate something that we love. We'll see.
Break our tie, or save the best for last. All that. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll go first, and then Andrew.
Okay.
Then Chicano Batman. So I do love that it carries over the red and black from the Batmobile. I think that does really work. But also, it's really the sidecar that feels distinct with the bat insignia on it. For me, for a Batcycle, it's got to have basically a motorcycle with a bat motif. That's all I really ask for it. I don't need anything really fancy with it. Batman's Batcycle here just kind of seems like it's a motorcycle with the bat shield as the windshield. So it's not as distinct or memorable as what it's going to turn into. I still like it. It's still simple enough. It's still got the bat motif with kind of the bat shield and insignia. So I'm not going to give it an S, but I'll give it an A, for what it is. What do you think, Andrew?
I would like to see the other side of it. So the cycle part that Batman's on is just straight up a Harley with I can see the
I think so. I would have to go back and take a look just to double check.
This only appeared in one episode. It's one 2-parter.
It's in the second part of the 2-parter.
The second part of a 2-parter.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I don't hate it. But I think I'm going to give it a B though, just because I know we can do better. And that bat shield looks like it'll cause a lot of drag. I know they wanted to add a lot. Not a lot, but they wanted to add a little something to it to make it more Batmanish and maybe into a toy. Mm-hmm. And it always looks like everybody in a sidecar. The sidecars show up a lot in toys. Mm-hmm. I think Ninja Turtles had them, and you see it a lot. And I always just feel like they're just gonna die in that thing. I know Robin needs to ride on something, but it's just what I think. It doesn't make it any worse, but I just always think that when I see a sidecar. But it looks fine. It's for the time, it's fine. It's a B.
All right, Chicano Batman. What do you think?
I also got to go with B.
Mm.
Yeah, definitely think it's B, and that's mainly just because I know the next one we're gonna get, and the next one we're gonna get, it is a drastic improvement. Mm-hmm. So I was gonna say if it was just this for the 66, we could leave it as an A. But just knowing what we are gonna get next, we get some added functionality or some functional attributes with the next one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll definitely have to say, all right, B.
All right, so let's put that pretty much that averages out to B plus, I would say. Yeah. So we're starting off better here than we did with the Batwings. I gotta say.
Those are... Did you see that episode, Chicano Batman?
Not yet.
Oh, man.
Yet. I saw someone already start raking up. I was just like, oh man, gotta research the Batwings.
Yeah.
Big fan.
But yeah, we're already to a better start here. So like we indicated, this was not the iconic Batcycle that we would know and love. The version that we would see first appeared in the Batman 66 movie, and here we go.
Yeah.
Nice.
We got a lot more white and red in this version. And Batman Cycle itself isn't just a Harley anymore. It's definitely got its own distinct things without just the bat shield. More aerodynamic. The shield isn't blocking. That was a good point, by the way, Andrew. I didn't even think about that until you brought that up. I'm like, oh yeah, it does seem like that would cause more drag.
Yeah, that's probably why they changed it, honestly, that one part of it.
Yeah, Robin now in his sidecar gets his own R insignia in the front.
You have to, bro.
And this was designed off of a customized Yamaha Catalina by a designer named Dembski, apparently. So this one, I mean, look, this is iconic. Normally, I wouldn't want, or see the need to have the color white so much in the Bat vehicles, but for Adam West and Batman 66, it fits so well. I mean, it wouldn't fit. Maybe it wouldn't fit the other Batman, but like it fits so well into this. It's more iconic. There's more of a Bat motif. To me, this is the S. What do you think, Andrew?
Oh man, don't hate me, but I'm gonna go maybe A. I don't know if it's too much white. And what's this S thing? I mean, it's probably just the design. It's probably not even an S. Look, it's toyetic, and we all know that's a plus for me. They probably sold a lot of toys. It is sleek too, so I like that. But it's a lot of white. But also, it looks like what's his name? Burt Ward is like in like pounce mode.
Oh, that's true. He's like bow-legged in this.
Yeah, he's like ready to like jump out a little easier or something, which is kind of interesting. I wonder how fast he could ride in that sidecar though. But look, I know a lot of people grew up with this, especially some of our older listeners. This is like everything about this show is their shit. So please don't hate me. But I mean, it's like maybe I'll give it an A.
All right, Chicano Batman.
All right, I definitely gotta agree. There's an S right on that side. Looks like it could be part of a wing, but I mean, right there, it's saying, "Hey, this is."
I'd be shocked if you did give this an S.
And not only that, but I mean, this is also one of the first Batcycles where it can actually break into the Batcopter. So I mean, when they're jetting from I'm pretty sure those are California streets.
Oh yeah.
They're just like going to the helicopter like right in wait, and they automatically just disengage and they meet like right where they're supposed to. I mean, that functionability, just being able to do that it's perfect. And I mean, we do have a lot of the ideas of what's going to be with the Batpod, where the Batpod just kind of like comes out from the Batmobile. And it's just like, okay, well, you can kind of get like a foreshadowing of that with Robin's little cart. So I mean, with this, I gotta say it's S. It says it like right on the wing. I'll stick with that.
Okay.
Awesome. All right. Well then, let's put that. Andrew did give it an A, but that kind of brings us down to S- territory.
Yeah, that's
but
two S's against it. 2 S's against an A. So
yeah. But definitely brings that up. So yeah, we've got a good start here. We've got the more iconic Batcycle at an S, and the lesser known original one at a B. Let's see how the modern day ones stack up after the break.
Right.
It's time for May announcements, everyone.
Indeed, and we have some news. We're gonna be in a movie. Yes, a movie, short film actually.
Hollywood,
done by our Patreon
baby.
Yeah, we are going Hollywood. So yes, we're in a movie. It's a short film done by our Patreon patron and longtime supporter Jeffrey Scott Richards. Jeffrey put us in his documentary called All Right Forever, where we talked about our COVID experiences. You can check that out when you can. But now he's doing something different. Now he's doing a scripted short film, and we're in it. And it's called Derek Magnum. So the log line is, I'm reading off from his Indiegogo, Derek Magnum is one of the leading directors and creative forces in the superhero genre today. When his wife posthumously publishes a tell-all book about his years of misconduct towards her, he loses everything. Now, years later, he tries to find redemption in the eyes of his 21-year-old son. So, in this short film, Andrew and I will play ourselves, hosting Superhero Stuff You Should Know and discussing Derek Magnum. We're excited, but Jeffrey could use your help on the production with festival and marketing costs, feeding the main actors, not us, we're good, but the main actors involved, like the guy who's actually playing Derek Magnum, and paying the composer for us. So head on over to indiegogo.com/project/Derek, that's DERRICK, -Magnum -A -short -film -by -Richard S. Scott, Richard Scott J, !hashtag.
So
that's a long one.
The link is
click the link in the damn description.
The link is on the description, and then it's also, we got a visual of it here on the visual for the podcast on the YouTube. So check it out there. So I obviously have experience with Indiegogo. I'm in a recon and et cetera, and support the arts, y'all. This is how you do it. Support a fellow fan of all the stuff that we're a fan of, and let's get this film off the ground. We needs to pay his crew and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Again, it goes to the crew. It goes to helping out festival costs and stuff. Like we are just in it. Like, this money does not go to us. This is to help Jeffrey. So anything that you can, over to the Indiegogo link that I will not repeat. Just click the damn link in the description, and it'll take you there. So. Thank you, everyone. In terms of other projects, just wanted to say thanks again to everyone who supported my first published fiction, Shortcut to Happily Ever After, which was a short story novella published in Metaphorosis magazine in April. It's available to read on the Metaphorosis website, as well as on Kindle and Paperback if you choose to get your own copies and support the magazine. A podcast audio version is available, read by podcast host Matt Gomez, which you can check out on YouTube. And thanks again to those who have heard it on YouTube, because thanks to you and the supporters who've commented, that's Leander Nicholson and Jacob Patrick. Those of you who have heard it, thanks to you, it is the #1 video on the Metaphorosis podcast channel on YouTube.
#1, y'all.
Thanks again for that. So,
Woo!
And basically, that is it for my own stuff, but we have a May charity drive. Again, we do like to keep these charities related to the people we've covered on the show, and this one is no exception. Peter David is a writer we've brought up on this podcast a few times. We covered his novelization for Batman Forever. We'll likely cover his others at a certain point. And yes, we got to acknowledge, we have joked. He's friend of the podcast, Peter David, since he was not so friendly to Andrew over Twitter years ago. But again, we are a superhero podcast, and superheroes believe in compassion. We wouldn't be following in the footsteps of superheroes if we let that get in the way of asking you to help him out. Peter David has been undergoing kidney failure, as well as a series of strokes and a heart attack, according to this post on the GoFundMe. Yeah, it sounds pretty rough, and so they're asking his fans for support. So please give that over to GoFundMe.com/F/Peter-David-Fund and help someone out who was part of your childhood. He was definitely a big part of mine and part of a part of the show in some way, with the novelizations that he's written that we're bound to cover even more of at some point on this. So that is the May charity drive that we're doing for this one.
Yeah,
and,
you
go ahead.
said those comments before back in the day. It was just it's funny we're even going over this, but it was just for fun. It was probably even was just a little Twitter thing, and it was like he might have even just had a bad day that day or something. It wasn't that big of a deal. I just wanted to make some jokes about it for the sake of the podcast.
Yeah, sorry. I didn't mean to make it sound like it was a big deal before we hate him or anything. Like, we were just joking,
we obviously don't. We obviously don't. I'm just trying to, just clear the air on that. We're trying to help him out. So there you go. Give him the old superhero stuff you should know bump.
Yep.
So whatever that is. Check it out. His GoFundMe will be linked in the description. And if you could throw him some shekels, that would be great. He had major runs. He had really good like the novelizations, right? He did
novelizations. The Aquaman one, obviously, that you had talked to him about.
Yeah,
and
it was like Game of Thrones type of story. It was like it was about Atlantis, and it was a pre-Aquaman thing. It was like to set up the Aquaman lore a little bit, and it was like Game of Thrones in Atlantis, and it was a pretty cool run. And he also co-created Spider-Man 2099, and so how much money has Marvel made off of that? showing up in that. So it's just like, a lot of big hitters there. Not that he needs that for money for a GoFundMe, but just to show you he's been a part of people's lives, So, if you guys could, you could probably, the lowest amount is probably $1, right? If you could just even give $1, that'd be great. And I
if
guess
all of our YouTube subscribers donated $1, that'd be $3,000 for them.
$3,000,
Over
yeah.
3,000, yeah.
Over 3,000. So please do what you can, guys. Yeah.
All right, and that is it for the May announcements. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Just wanted to announce that I have a new podcast called Gaming Gaiden. It's about Japanese to English translation. In this first season, it will be 10 episodes each season. If you saw the ranking, every Superman video game two-parter we did here on Superhero Stuff You Should Know, you have seen Mike before. So yes, if you like video games, if you've been interested in Japanese ever, we're going to be talking a lot about just Japan in general, Japanese cultural differences as well, and we also are going to have a lot of talk about 90s video game magazines such as Electronic Gaming Monthly, aka EGM. So stay tuned for Gaming Gaiden podcast. It's already out now, y'all. I want to tell you about the Patreon.com. Patreon.com/SuperheroStuffPod, and on that you get the $1 tier. You can join the $1 tier, which gets you the shout out on the board, and either visually or orally, or both at times. We want to do the oral for the most part for newer people. And then the $5 tier gets you a whole new show. This show is every Monday, as you well know, and it's free on YouTube and the What's Nots. And the Patreon show is every Friday at the $5 tier mark. You can, if you want, binge us for $5, and there's like 150 episodes, almost 150 at this point, and you can listen to all that content there. Even the stuff that's been released from the vault, none of that has been the full episode as well. So trying to keep our $5 tier people happy. But yeah, check that out. And then our $10 tier gets you all of the above, plus it gets you a monthly meetup show where you meet up with us monthly, and it's like a Zoom-like call, and we have a topic at hand, or sometimes videos we react to and things like that. And that's at the $10 tier. Every tier that you get, like the $5 tier gets you the $1 tier benefits, and the $10 tier gets you the $5 tier benefits and the $1 tier benefits. So check that out at patreon.com/superherostuffpod. We also got the merch, which is Redbubble, superhousepod.redbubble.com, and on Threadless, superherostuffpod.threadless.com. Get your Bin Man and Indeed Wizard mug, shirt, shower curtains, and all the rest artwork by Stephen Santa Cruz. And please send us some audio at superhousepodcast@gmail.com. A bumper would be great. You too can be part of the show. I'm ThunderWolfDrew on Instagram and Twitter. ThunderWolf Lives is my other YouTube channel, one of my many YouTube channels. And I have also ThunderWolfDrew.com has my whole portfolio in one place, except for AmanoRecon.com. That's AMANORECON.com. And that is an original idea that some friends and I are doing, where it is R-rated Power Rangers meets Stranger Things. That's the quick pitch, and it is not a fan film, original idea. We have a pitch video right now on YouTube and on the Indiegogo page. We're campaigning right now as of this, when this episode premieres. And this poster art is by ZacharyJacksonBrownArt.com. And check it out. Please support us on the campaign, and more from that soon. But yes, it's bloody, and if you like that kind of thing, check us out. And that's it, Ben.
Follow us on social media, on Twitter at SuperHousePod, Instagram SuperheroStuffPod, where we have some different supplemental stuff. I've even analyzed the martial arts stance that the Keaton ornament from The Flash is in, so you can check that out on our Instagram SuperheroStuffPod. TikTok, Superhero Stuff Pod, Vero, Superhero Stuff Pod. My website is benwanwriter.com, where you can read a whole bunch of spec scripts, including Gotham, Vampire, Elementary, The Death of Sherlock Holmes, and Curb Your Enthusiasm, Disneyland. If you're fans of any of those shows, check them out and let us know what you think. My YouTube channel is in the description below, including Doctor Who, The Ronin of Time, an audio drama I write, edit, and narrate with the 8th Doctor, meeting Miyamoto Musashi. My personal Instagram is benwanwriter. If you like cats, my son, Alfie, my cat, is at Alfie Pennyworth Cat. And if you have an Alfie yourself, then you can get the Whisker Box, the only cat box for the crazy cat lady and gent. And you can even check out another page on that website, superherostuffpod.com/show notes. That includes various show notes for each of our episodes, links to the scripts that we review if they're available online, Amazon links to the stuff we've been talking about, including, Brian Levant's book that he plugged for us, My Life and Toys. So check that out at superherostuffpod.com/show notes.
Lord have mercy, y'all. Do you like hounds? Do you enjoy pooches? Do you find yourself enjoying time spent with that of canines? Talking about dogs, y'all.
As you might have heard, Superhero Stuff You Should Know has now teamed up with BarkBox. For every month, you get a box for your special canine.
Pooches.
Or hounds.
That's right. One free extra month if you go to barkbox.com/superherostuffpod.
Follow the link and you'll get a free extra month valued at $35 and valid for all multi-length plans.
So get the BarkBox for your hound, for your pooch, for your canine.
Your doggo will thank you.
All I need is my corn.
And we're back, and we're going to continue ranking the Batcycles in live action. We started with Batman 66, and then we get this long period of time where Batman's main road vehicle is the Batmobile. We all love it, but for a while, he wasn't really using the Batcycle. In the Schumacher films, it was Robin and Batgirl's Batcycles, and we will be covering that in the future, but just not in this episode. I wanted us to kind of just stick strictly to the ones that Bruce uses as Batman. So he would mainly be using the Batmobile until The Dark Knight. So let's go into the Batpod in The Dark Knight. This is named the Batpod instead of the Batcycle because it's literally an escape pod from the Tumbler after the Joker blows it up. I remember when I first heard it was being called the Batpod, I'm just like, why is it called that? And then I saw the movie, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. So that's also why we always say, like, yeah, you should probably judge it when the movie comes out.
Right.
It is consisting of the front 2 tires of the Tumbler along with its front guns, which Batman uses to blow up cars out of his way throughout that chase sequence. I do have the Dark Knight manual, and I found some other information in that, which says that Batman leans forward to guide it, a technique used by professional racers to lessen drag, thereby increasing his speed. Additionally, the lower center of gravity gives him greater control over the pod, allowing him to steer by shifting body weight as needed for maneuvers. This posture also lessens the exposure to gunfire. This is all from the manual. So it also has 2 engines, according to this. I don't know where you would fit that, but it has 2 engines, one in the hub on the front wheel and the other located in the back wheel. So I guess that answers my question. Foot in mouth.
Yes.
So, I'm, let's see. Other than that, the Batpod does not only shows up in The Dark Knight, but also shows up in The Dark Knight Rises, with both Batman and Catwoman riding it, and Catwoman using the guns on it to kill Bane at the end. So, in terms of...
it was his reckoning.
It was his reckoning, yeah. The other thing that, when I first saw this one, if we're going into opinions, when I first saw this, I'm like, this kind of looks a little ridiculous, really? But then, I saw it on a poster, and I'm like, you know what that kind of looks like? It looks like a knight jousting with this type of thing, with the big guns on it. And I'm like, all right, I kind of see where you're going with this. And then I saw the movie, and I saw, how the pod worked and how it came out of the Tumbler, and I was like, you know what? I personally think, and I know this might not be saying much because we rank the vehicles a little lower on our rankings, but I think this is the best of the Nolan vehicles for me, outside of the, based off of this, the Tumbler and the Bat. To me, I like this one the best. The in-universe explanation fits. The name fits for what it is. If you were to say, hey, make a Batcycle out of the Tumbler, it would look like this. Naturally, it would look like this. It's not my preferred take on a Batcycle. And another thing is, we also have to kind of talk about the fact that there's guns on these, and yes, pretty much all the Batmobiles and Batwings, nearly all of them have had guns. but they're usually hidden. These are just right out in the open and front and center. He doesn't give a fuck on this
Nope.
one. But it's the only other issue I have with it is there's not really like anything bat-like about it. Like I do love the bat insignia being on the Batman 66 one and other forms of the bat showing up on the Batcycles in the comics. Here, there's not really any version of that, and I kind of missed that in the Nolan movies, especially given the whole theme about him being a symbol. I've talked about that, ad nauseum for all this. So, out of all these, to me, it's a B minus. I do like it. It is my favorite of the vehicles, but it's not my preferred take on the Batcycle, so I can't really give it like a SA or like a B plus. But I'll give it a nice B minus on that. Andrew, am I being too generous?
No, I'm gonna go higher. I give it an A. Like this is the best.
Right.
This is the best Nolan vehicle. I agree with you on that. I don't like the guns like there either. I mean, it's always the in-universe thing is they want to clear out debris or whatever instead of shoot people, but still, it's just like I don't know.
There could have been people in those cars, though.
That's the thing. So I don't know, but yeah, it being an escape pod is cool. I've never seen a motorcycle with this big of wheels either. Like this is just so different just on that alone. And it climbs the wall, which some people hate, but I thought it was cool enough. Cool, like I don't care about. It's a guy in a bat suit. You're gonna worry about like how it climbs up a wall real quick, and just to turn around. Like who gives a fuck? And it turns over like the semi truck, right? That was an awesome action scene, bro. That scene fucking ruled, man.
That was a hell of a showcase, yeah.
Yeah, I loved that. So, is that the best Batcycle showcase? Actually, now that I think about it, it could be.
So far,
I'd say.
So far, exactly.
We'll see what Batfleck does with his 5 minutes in Flash, but
yeah,
but it's. I never bought the toy for this, but I would. It's out of all the Nolan ones, this is kind of the vehicle they got the most right. So, yeah, I'd probably give it an A, actually.
All right. Chicano Batman.
All right. I definitely got to say, it looks like A territory for me. I would have said S territory, but it's definitely the idea that there's, I mean, yeah, I know it was the essential escape pod, but I am missing just some of the Bat motif.
Yeah.
So, I mean, had it been able to be something where it's completely identifiable, that it's just like, oh, yeah, that's Batman's. Because once Catwoman gets onto it, it's just like, hey, Catwoman looks pretty good writing that. Like, it could be the Catcycle. It's very easily just who's ever writing it. It could be theirs, whereas opposed to if Batman's writing something, it's just like, or someone else even goes and takes it for a spin. It's just like, no, they're writing the Bat Pod or the Batcycle. That's what's stopping it from being an S for me. But I mean, it's nothing to sneeze at, because even on the extra features, when they were talking about how the engines are able to go ahead and like propel it, it's something that only Batman would have access to, where he has to have the engines essentially like spin the wheels to do all that, and nothing's in the middle. So, I mean, just the fact that like sheer engineering, I mean, that's just, oh, okay. I mean, it's still up there.
Yeah, I know that's how Teslas work. They have 4 engines. There's an engine on each wheel on Teslas.
I'm learning something else. Oh man.
Maybe I guess the tumbler works maybe in a similar way. I don't know, but
the tumbler foreshadowed the Tesla.
Yeah,
maybe that's a stretch, but no, that is another cool aspect of the
fact. Is it though? Billionaire Tesla. I don't know.
So, all right, let's see. So, let's see, 2 A's. Let's I'd say we're putting this at the A territory. So there you go for any Nolan fans out there who are wondering why we're so hard on the designs. We finally gave an A to a Nolan design thing.
Well, when it doesn't look like a fucking brick,
yes,
we'll give it a better score.
Yeah. I wasn't sure. I didn't know what your feelings were on this one. That's why I'm just like, am I being too generous on your opinion? Because I know you thought I was too generous on the Affleck Batwing. last time.
Oh,
but this
well,
is different.
that's fine. Whatever. I'm picky with the bat wings.
Yes. So, all right. So that's where the Bat Pod is. We kind of have a nice line right here with basically the 66 show and the Bat Pod in between. Let's go into the Batman, where there are technically 2 motorcycles, but only one of them I'm going to count. The first one is the one that Bruce rides as the Drifter, actually. He rides around on a motorcycle in the Nirvana Something in the Way sequence, as well as sort of spying on Selena later on. In the art of the Batman book, they called this the Cafe Racer, and it's built on a Honda CB750. Designer James Chinlin said that he sort of described that Bruce would want a motorcycle that he can easily, fix and repair, but also kind of have a stripped down and lean aesthetic that sort of fits in with the world that he's created and the vehicles that we see in this movie. Since Bruce isn't really Batman on this motorcycle, we're not really going to include this because it's supposed to just be just a regular looking motorcycle on this. So let's go into the actual motorcycle that Batman rides, which is the Bat Bike, as it's called actually in the art of the Batman book, the Bat Bike. This is a set photo with Rick English in the bat suit. Notice that there's no cape here. And Rick English also is the guy who's on the Batcycle in The Flash. So he's just the guy you turn to, I guess, to drive the motorcycle. But the
That has to
specific
be a fun job.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That has to be a fun job.
Dangerous, but
Yeah.
definitely.
I'm not
definitely
only
fun.
Batman, but I'm the Batcycle Batman. We get Citroen to fight, but I'm riding.
Yeah, pretty much. So here he is. On that, we got the bat motif, very subtle with the bat ears on the front there, and then we kind of have an extended back, which the production designer James Chinlin said was sort of to represent how he quote unquote isn't really focused on any protection from the back because he's always driving forward, he's always in pursuit. But yeah, this is pretty much a stripped down Batcycle for the world of the Matt Reeves world, and personally, I love it. I think this looks like the Batcycle from the comics with a bat motif. Like again, all I ask is that it's a motorcycle with a bat motif. Doesn't have to have huge tires. Doesn't need to be overly designed. Just have some bat-like thing in there. I know people have criticized that, hey, if it crashes, he's gonna get stabbed right through the chest by the ears, but I'm just like, yeah, and he could also get shot in the mouth more likely. Because he's moving at a slower speed than when he's riding the motorcycle. So, like, it's accept that as part of the world. It's a motorcycle with a bat motif.
He
That's
could
all
also
I asked.
he could also not wear a cape, guys.
That's true.
Like choose what you want here, like to be practical or not. Like people are just so ridiculous with these opinions sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's also probably a good reason why they got that extended back, so that when the cape flows, it doesn't have a chance of like getting caught in the back wheel.
Oh, that's why he's
that
not
point.
riding with the shit. They're going to
that too,
CG
that
it
too.
for these
But
scenes because that's just very dangerous.
Yeah, in the universe of the world, I mean, like it's probably also why that's in there. So cool, but like I love this. I think it's the perfect like modern day way to do the Batcycle. So to me, it's an S. What do you think, Andrew?
S. My gut says maybe A plus. I
mean, to be fair, it's in 2 seconds of the movie, so it's kind of like.
I'm picky, but not as picky as I am with the bat wings. So,
okay.
I think there's a part of me. I know this is like a very realistic Batman. It's like the darkest one. But like it's like the only bat motif is like right there on around the light, the front headlamp, which is cool. I like it, but I don't know where else I would put it. But I feel like it needs a little more bat motif somewhere else too to kind of tie it all together. It doesn't feel like enough, but I'm giving it an A plus because it's like mostly good. This is like. It's a fucking motorcycle, and it's all mostly black, all black. It looks like, which is cool. It's not super toyetic, but nothing in this movie is, because it's realistic in a very kind of a different way, right? Than even Nolan. But I think I do like these vehicles on average more than what Nolan's and Snyder's vehicles too. Honestly, so. Yeah, that's it. It's good. But is it S is special, Ben, and Chicano Batman. I gotta save it. I might not give any S's this episode. I'm sorry.
I mean, to me, it was special just because I'm just like, oh, this is something that feels like it's the comic book version. That's mainly what it was. Like,
yeah.
Oh, they finally did that as opposed to this, this tank shit. Which, again, like, I still appreciate it for what it was, but it doesn't fit this world, especially for the context of the scene where he's just literally just doing, he's just driving away from Selena.
You're talking me into it, but I'm gonna hold with the A+.
I'm not trying to talk you out of it. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
For me, it was special.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get real metaphorical on you guys. All right. So earlier today, Ben said that there's no protection from behind. That's true, but also tying that in, he's driving away from Selena, metaphorically leaving himself vulnerable to her because there's little armor. I mean, the whole fact, this doesn't look like it's going to take a couple of hits. This looks like it's just always just in pursuit, right? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, just with the fact that it's always like zipping around and it doesn't look like it's like too armored up, that's perfect for the idea of a motorcycle. It's just, he's just trying to get in and out.
Yeah.
I completely love it. Also, really got to say, there's no guns on it whatsoever. So, I mean, that really is
true.
Achieving what Batman is supposed to be with the whole lack of guns. I mean, you get like some of the cool things from, Adam West, where it's just like, oh yeah, there's no guns. But I mean, it has those sleek bat ears. And I got to say, S.
Yep.
Yes. Okay.
All right. So we're going to put that below Adam West, since that one I think was unanimously S. I think. Oh, no, that was also an A. So they're basically the same rank, right? Because Andrew also had an A for that one. So yeah, they're both basically at like S-.
S-, yeah. I'm bringing everything down, but I'm sticking to my guns, my bat guns. That shouldn't be there.
And Batman would Batman would love you for that. It's like, nah, you're gonna stick to your values.
Stick to your guns. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it for the movies that we have been released, but we have one more coming up. And again, like, it might feel like it's a little premature to add something from a movie we haven't seen yet, but again, designs are designs. It's usually unlikely that the whole opinion on the design itself will change. I say that knowing what happened with the Batpod in The Dark Knight, but that's probably the most rare exception. In most cases, if I like it before going in the movie, I like it when I see the movie. If I don't like it before going into the movie, I still don't really care for it after seeing the movie, no matter how good the movie is. There's some designs I just like better. But let's go into The Flash. Presumably, Ben Affleck's last time in The Cape and Cowl, he gets one new vehicle from Andy Muschietti that he did not get in the Snyder films, and that's the Batcycle here. It seems to be from a similar family to the Batpod and emerges out of the Flying Fox in the main action sequence that features Affleck. Many have noted when this was seen on set that it seems to evoke the Batcycle from the Batman White Knight comics, which themselves were probably inspired by the Dark Knight's Batpod. So it's kind of an interesting cycle here of like the Batpod happens, and then White Knight is inspired by that, and then this is inspired by the White Knight version of it. So another thing that's shown in one of the TV spots that premiered shortly after the latest trailer is that part of the features of the Batcycle is a shield that blocks Batfleck from gunfire. So that's pretty cool. But let's go into some preliminary thoughts onto this before we wrap. So I'm nothing if not consistent. Once again, we get a huge cycle. There's no Bat motif. So it kind of comes down to, is this a level above or below the Batpod for me? Again, I do like it doesn't have giant-ass guns in the front. So that is a plus. And again, that's kind of ironic since this is Batfleck that there's no guns on this one. But it's Batfleck after, Justice League. So, like, he's evolved since then. But it's also, and again, we haven't seen the movie, so maybe this is unfair. It's just not as memorable of a design as the Batpod to me. So I kind of have to keep it, below the Batpod for my personal ranking. It's not a goose egg, though. I'm going to give it a shot when I see it. It's just not quite, it doesn't quite have the same level of iconography yet of the Batpod. But again, maybe that's just because I haven't seen the movie yet. We'll see. So again, not a goose egg, but since I gave the Batpod a C+, I'll give this one a straight C. Andrew.
Okay, I thought you were going with E because you were like not a nitlog, but
oh yeah, it's false advertising on my part. On that one.
Okay, I can kind of agree that it's not super memorable just yet. It's Is it only one wheel in the back?
It looks like it, doesn't it?
I don't.
It looks like it.
I straight up do not like that.
Tricycle vibes, right?
It's reverse tricycle, even at that.
It's a bat tricycle.
Right. So like, maybe it's one. Maybe there are two wheels and we're just not seeing it. But it looks like there's just one fat one and then two big ones in the front.
Yeah,
bro. This is. Do not like that at all. I'm not gonna give it an it log. It's because it's kind of sleek enough. But and there's no bat motif either. But the body itself, I actually don't hate. I think it's kind of okay. Yes, there should be a bat motif more there, but not the worst thing I've ever seen. And then, but the fucking two wheels in the front and then one in the back, that's gonna drive me fucking crazy. I hate that kind of shit. I don't know why it just doesn't look good to me, dude. And I'm not a car guy. I'm not like a fucking into this kind of shit too much outside of the world of comics. You know what I mean? So, and video games and stuff. But you can pull it up.
It looks
Let's
like
see what we got here in the back.
It looks like it. Yeah, it looks like one on the toy. Two big ones in the front and one on the back of the toy.
Ah, dude, fucking A, man.
And it looks like one in the set photo too, that we see here on Google. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right on this. It's a reverse tricycle.
It's got to be a C- then. Let's see. It's we're closing in on D, and it sucks too because this is like it's this. I hadn't actually thought about it too much because I like the movement in the shot and I like how Batman is riding the motorcycle in that shot. So like, dynamic movement was good so far. What we've seen, in trailer 2, but so maybe that like threw me for a loop. And it's like that design wise, not the best. And the other thing, not the best design wise in the Flash trailer is that fucking football pad shit over Batman. Like
it does ruin the blue and gray.
Dude, Muschietti, it just sucks because you're so close. Like everything else, I like the Flash suit. I like the fucking fucked up Flash suit where he's just wearing a bat suit painted red.
Yeah.
I love your Batwing. Everything. Your Zod's great. It's kind of the same thing, but still,
Supergirl.
I love the Supergirl, the red shoulders. Like you're killing it every step of the way. S. But the hockey pads, he's literally wearing hockey pads.
Poor Affleck.
And then but he's got the blue and gray or whatever. And so that's cool. So it's like 95 when you have a show that's like 95% awesome decisions, that 5%, they're not terrible, but they're going to stick out a little bit. And no movie is perfect. Well, some movies are perfect, I guess, but most movies aren't. And it's fun. It's going to be an awesome movie more than likely in the movie. But yeah, what did I say? C-, I guess. Probably C-, yeah.
I also realized you could argue that these shield things are the bat ears in the front, but I mean, again, they have to come up. They're not always there. This is like the argument that the Tumbler is like a crouched in bat, and I'm just you only see that when you look for it. That's not evident when he's driving around.
No, the thing they want to be so subtle with some of these design choices, like the back of the Reeves thing was a bat or something, right? Which is cool, but I like it to an extent, but comic books on some level are not about being subtle, dude. It's a guy in a goddamn bat suit. It's not subtle, man.
Everything else is acceptable.
It is not subtle.
Yeah. That's kind of why you like
it. He can't put his bat insignia on his motorcycle. That's not realistic. I'm just like, that's the most realistic thing in this world. Is that
he's a guy that's
thing on there.
He's a stealth guy that wears a yellow fucking thing on his chest. I know there's in-universe stories for that, reasons for that, but still though, it's cool. That's what's good about it. It's kind of not subtle, but they're wanting to differentiate themselves design wise. So
yeah,
I get it. It's just I don't know. Like the Muschietti Batwing is perfect because it looks like a bat. It's kind of not subtle. It's sleek. It does everything right. But anyway, Chicano Batman.
I've been curious about this whole time. I got to give it a goose egg.
Oh man!
Yeah.
Reverse tricycle.
Yeah, reverse tricycle. Dude, my son has a little Spider-Man Lego, and it looks just like this.
Reverse tricycle style?
It's just like a reverse tricycle. Yeah,
wait. So
it's
is
a little
Spider-Man riding
set.
it? Like, what is it?
It's for Miles Morales, and it has the 2 wheels that are on the side, and then the fat wheel on the back. And I'm just like,
I guess that's the hot style these days. But
I suppose, but I mean, also it's I remember seeing the Batcycle from the Reeves universe, and I immediately thought, damn, that's cool. And then I saw pictures of this one. I was just like, what did it do to Batfleck? Why is he wearing the lingerie and this? And then, I mean, come on, they're gonna put the Batwing and the '89 Batmobile. Like, that's just like it's making it a target.
Insult to injury.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just like, I mean, if this was the only vehicle we were gonna get, and the fact that like comes out of the Batwing, the Flying Fox, like I'm just like, nah. Yeah. And I mean, I haven't seen the movie yet, but if I see the movie, I'll be the first to go and say I was wrong. Batfleck's Batcycle was all right, but I mean, right now I'm just like, it's a lot.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was thinking
Also,
about Goose Egg too.
Goose Egg.
I was thinking about Goose Egg too, but I wanted to kind of hold off. I didn't feel like that bad about it, but I did consider it for a bit. Yeah.
You got to have some goose egg so you can really appreciate the S tier.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
All right, so with that goose egg, I kind of just I would say that brings it down the whole grade, right? So Andrew gave it C, so that
definitely gives it a D. Yeah.
All right. Wow. Okay, so final rankings then. We're saying that the next Batcycle is going to be the worst one. D. Batflex for the Flash.
It'll be one of the best movies, though. Probably
one of the best movies with the worst Batcycle. Well, we said that about Dark Knight. It's one of the best movies, but had the worst Batcave in that Bat bunker. So
yeah, that's true. Oh man. Oh my god. Yeah.
We won't get started on that one. And then B is the original Batcycle from Batman '66. Then A would be the Bat Pod from The Dark Knight. So there you go, Nolan fans who think that we hate the designs.
Woo!
We don't hate the designs. We just don't think they're as good as the others. And then at the S tier, we got both the Batman '66 cycle and the Reeves-verse Bat Bike. And I'm sure when we see more of that Bat Bike in the future, which we hopefully will, maybe we'll have more of an opinion on that. Maybe it'll become more iconic. To be fair, we're judging this based off of what we saw of it, and Batpod has this big spectacle, and the Bat Bike has like a 2-second scene where he drives away from Selena. So we're just going off a design. It hasn't had much of a showcase design yet. It hasn't had an awesome chase scene yet. So, but that's where we're at with the Batcycles. So
you know what, Ben
thank
and
you.
Ben and Chicano Batman, I regret nothing. I regret nothing.
Neither
Nicely
do we.
done.
Yes.
Very nice.
So again, just to plug, I want to plug your Instagram, or you can plug your Instagram here. Chicano
Yeah,
Batman.
of course. Once again, folks, if there's ever a need to go to any charity events, fundraisers, community outings, your Chicano Batman is here to serve you. So just send me a DM and happy to help as needed.
Nice.
Awesome.
So that's M Garcia 5159 on Instagram.
Yeah.
And with that is superhero stuff you should know. Big thanks to our research assistant Dan for gathering the visuals for the YouTube experience, and we have a few fan comments that Chicano Batman can join us in reading through. So let's see. Farzad Ali. Oh yeah, I selected this one for you, Andrew.
Oh yeah.
Most anticipated movie this year by far, referring to The Flash. Just one question. Are you guys worried about some of the CGI shots? Or is it going to be fine in the final thing? Or is it just that CGI in general on all big budget movies has kind of declined in quality? So, Andrew, do you want to take that away?
Sure. So I have a multi-tiered response. I thought about this for a bit, and I talked about it with Stefan, former co-host of the show. So, okay, so you're part right, and like, there probably has been some decline in quality, especially with MCU stuff, just because they just pump out so many, and it seems like there's a bit of a move to fix that and to make better CG in the films. So there's probably been a little bit of decline, a little bit here and there, despite computing power always getting better and better every year otherwise. But on the other hand, like I've never seen photorealistic CG. Maybe there's probably been like some stills of, like a portrait or something that looks photoreal of a girl or a dude or whatever. But as for a movie, I've never seen it ever. CG, and look, it's fine, but CG to me always looks like a cartoon. Avatar, the best CG we've ever seen, people say, right? It's a blue cartoon to me. It's fine. It's fine because I like cartoons. Like the MCU and the DCU, I'm in Saturday morning cartoon mode, and look, they do elevate it. Their deeper stories. Looks like Flash is going to be a very deep story, et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of the times, like, my brain is kind of in Saturday morning cartoon mode, and that's fine. I like cartoons. So for it to be, I don't know, man. Like, it's just not. This kind of thing doesn't bug me all that much if it's a little bit unrealistic, because it's a superhero movie. That's what this genre is. So it is part comic book. It's part cartoon. So it just doesn't bother me so much. They could, yes, I would like for them to, actually make better CG if they could, but if they don't, it's not really going to ruin it for me. That's just me personally. And here's the other thing about me. I just don't have the eye for it, man. Like, I didn't even notice there was bad CG until people brought it up. I'm just like, I notice different shit. Like, I'll notice, like, I can't watch Terry Gilliam movies and spaghetti westerns because I cannot stand a lot of ADR. I notice the lips moving wrong. Like, the audio, maybe my audio is a little bit better. I'm not an audiophile, but I notice that audio shit more sometimes. And so, like, I'll notice that before I'll notice bad CG, I feel like. And, like, so it's just, I don't know. It's just not something that I notice until people bring it up. I did go back and look at the CG in it. And, like, the other thing is, and we can move on. Sorry, this is kind of a long response, but
no worries.
The other thing too is, like, we've never seen a guy walk through run through the Speed Force. So you can't say, for me personally, I don't know if this is what you think. What's Farzad Ali? Mm-hmm. I don't know if this is what you think personally, but, like, it's just, I have no frame of reference for what some of this CG stuff looks like, so I just kind of let it go. I don't know what, like Kara throwing. I've never seen somebody throw a fucking missile at somebody or whatever, that big metal rod at Zod or whatever. I don't know what these things look like in real life, so I just kind of let it go. Because when you make CG, you're making something generally not real. So, I don't know. Like, I kind of see it when it's pointed out to me, but it's just not. It's not something that's a big issue for me personally. Do you guys feel the same? Are you on the same page, or?
I think I'm forgiving of it.
Yeah.
I think I noticed it, and it does kind of briefly take me out, but also it's just like, well, it's kind of like what Farzad said. Like, it's kind of like what we're used to seeing these days, which is either me just being in acceptance mode, or just means that I just accept whatever the Hollywood movies give me. But whatever the case is, I don't spend a lot of time worrying or criticizing about it. It's just not something. How do you feel about it, Chicano Batman?
Definitely, it mainly depends. I mean, the last just really bad example I saw just horrible CGI was Wonder Woman 1984. I mean, I saw that. I was just like, I know I'm watching this at home, but even watching this at home, like I'd be just like, why would I spend my money on that? Like, oh my god!
There are reasons
And I
outside of
mean,
the CG on that one.
yeah. And so I mean, when we hear that the big budget movie has kind of declined in quality, right there, I could see some truth in that. But I mean, even the fact that we've kind of have seen so many like varied ideas of a CGI, whereas opposed to, I mean, if we look back to last year when we were watching Batwoman, they were using. I mean, it was a lot of practical effects, but it was still probably at some point considered cutting edge.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I
it's true.
mean, you give it like a good amount of time, and it's just like, oh, that was actually clever how they did that. I think of like Pixar, and whenever they have water, my wife will actually point and say, "Wow, that's some really good looking water right there." And she's like, "Okay," so I could kind of see how some of that CGI is there, and it's. I mean, I hope for the most part that it is going to be fine in that final frame. But I mean, there's some other times where I'm kind of just like scratching my head. I'm just like I'm not the only one seeing this, right? Like
It's just for me. It's just like it looks the same as Avatar to me. I get. I'm not trying to piss off the internet or anybody here, but like it's just they all look just too shiny. Everything CG is too shiny for one. Avatar doesn't look real and The Flash doesn't look real. It just all falls in the same shit for me. There probably is a little bit better mocap, I guess, in Avatar. So maybe are people talking about the movement? Or are they talking about the overlook? I don't know exactly. I feel like maybe it's a mix of both, and you don't know unless you actually break it down with that person. But I
They
don't
might
know,
be talking
man.
about the look. If they're talking about the movement, I haven't seen much in terms of specific, like what the specific breakdowns are. If you guys have that, send that to us. But I haven't really seen much of that. It's just people showing frames.
When they're talking about how like the three of them move into frame, I think this is one of the things of contention, at least for some people. You know, in the Flash trailer 2, I think, you know, you have Kara and the two speedsters, right? But they're coming in because it's fucking, Speed Force and fast Kryptonian speed. Of course, this is going to be CG. I don't know what. I kind of don't know what you want from that. You know, it's just. And then I've heard somebody talk about how like of course, people nitpick everything about these trailers, right? Like Kara, when she's punching the dude, it's kind of a close shot. I think it's before she's wearing the suit, and the camera's kind of panning from left to right. But and look, I could be wrong, but it looks like it's a wide lens. It's almost a fisheye, because it's kind of in close and there's a lot there. So it's not just CG, everybody. It's a little bit of a fisheye, I believe. But people think her arm looks too stretched out, and I never even thought. Look, I talked with Stefan, and I looked up some other things when just to kind of like see what people were talking about, and it's just like, and the way Zod gets, like, whenever he gets hit by the thing, the way he falls down is a little bit too video gamey, apparently. It's like
Fatality.
that is literally, it's probably not even a second. I bet you it's not even 24 frames. That shot. 24 frames is 1 second, generally speaking, in film. So it's just so quick. It's just like, nitpick that. I know it's a big budget film, but it's not. I don't know. Anyway, thank you for your comment, Farzad. Let us know if we're saying your name correctly. But these are my thoughts. I know I'm not normal in this. I know I'm not the norm. It's just not. I just don't have the eye for it. I straight up don't have the eye for it, I feel like.
All right, thank you, Farzad, for that.
Thank you.
Sparkageddon has a few comments, bringing up Keaton falling comes from Flashpoint Thomas Wayne falling after he shot Reverse Flash. That could be an interesting connection, but who knows? We'll see. Depends on the context of that scene that we see where Keaton seems to be on his knees. As I speculated, is he kneeling before Zod? We have no idea. But in the meantime, Sparkageddon also says, "Say, Ben, when you have time, can you do a deep dive on Flashpoint Paradox and Batman Beyond Flashpoint animated film?" I don't think he means it's not a Batman Beyond Flashpoint animated. I think he means the Flashpoint Beyond comic. Unless there's a new Batman Beyond movie that I don't know about.
That would be awesome.
Do you remember in your Batman 1989 deep dive, you said Tim Burton 86 draft he wrote was the real reason we have a Flashpoint Batman? Okay, I think what he's referring to is the fact that Burton adapted one of the older Silver Age comics in which Thomas Wayne wore a bat suit, and that kind of was the precursor to the whole Thomas Wayne Batman and Flashpoint. Sparkageddon says, "I would have loved seeing Keaton with the red eyes and red bat chest logo, but yeah, Flashpoint Paradox is so good." Yeah, we'll probably do some form of a Flashpoint comparison with the Flash movie coming up, as well as like comparing it to the animated movie. So that's definitely coming up. I'm gonna go back and reread it before the movie happens and see what's there. But I'm also not really expecting it to be, a tried and true adaptation, considering all the changes we already know about. It's the Keaton Bruce Wayne Batman, as opposed to Thomas Wayne. It's Supergirl rather than the Flashpoint Superman. So
it definitely will not be a beat by beat of that comic. No. I'm just telling you now. It's going to be just the major beats. Yeah.
It'll be inspired by just like how Captain America Civil War was inspired by the Marvel comic, but it wasn't really like a beat by beat adaptation of it. It took some things and then kind of ran in its own direction for that. So that's pretty much what I'm predicting. But thanks, Sparkageddon, for that.
Thank you. Yep.
All right. Last one is from Drozolith. Let me know if I'm pronouncing that right. He says,
Droloseth.
Droloseth? Oh, yeah. Droloseth. Okay. So this was on the Obscure Batman theme episode we did. He says, "I was half expecting this to be about Christopher Drake's music from the animated movie, starting with Public Enemies." We should definitely cover Christopher Drake's stuff. He is underrated because he does a lot of the Batman
supremely underrated
stuff. Yeah. He did the Injustice music. But every time he does a Batman thing, he does a new Batman theme. So he's kind of the opposite of some of these other guys. Like, Elfman always comes on with, his theme, and other people use the Elfman theme. But whenever Christopher Drake does, he's doing Dark Knight Returns. That's its own theme. He's doing Batman Gotham Knight. He does his own theme. He's doing Arkham Origins, its own theme. Like he's always
Carol of the Bells from Joker. Come on. Oh.
Yeah, this is a genius move. This part for the score. But do you have a favorite of the Christopher Drake themes? I guess Carol of the Bells. That's not really technically it, but the use of that.
Yeah, that's the spot on. A little trivia about me. I'm actually born on Christmas, so since I've heard that, I always got that on my birthday playlist.
Nice.
So
that's a good one.
It's a great, Arkham Origins score is great. The Dark Knight Returns score is great. He's got a lot of good stuff, so we might cover that at some point. But thank you, Droloseth.
Thank you.
And with that, on to the shout-outs.
All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us for this episode, and thank you, Chicano Batman, for joining us.
Thank you, fellas, and everyone listening. Thank you for listening and supporting.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed, and thank you, Benatavius, for your bat tutelage as always. So we want to thank Michael W, Bruce K, Tita, Sketchcraft, Kyle B, and Darren P, and our other supporters as well, and everybody else here up on this here board. And we told you about our friends, and we want you to do us a favor.
We want you to tell all your friends about us.
I want you to tell your friends about me.